but I don't know what I pressed.
He logged in the new world.
Logging out since it's done.
That was the wrong button.
That was
Definitely the wrong button.
The wrong button. All right. Hey, everybody. First of all, a couple housekeeping items. Then we'll go ahead and start. So, welcome in, everybody. We'll try to check chat a little more often this time, like every review. So, y'all hang in there. And then Harley subbed for 11 months. So, I can't believe it's been 11 months. So, thank you very much for that. Welcome in, Danielle, and your Super Duper Browns. Sorry you did not get it done last week. So,
Don't get a shout out like that for subbing for so long. I don't know if I should be hurt or insulted.
You
did, actually.
You did. Don't even
He made
start.
a big deal about it, sir.
I think someone has been a sub for a year and a half, as a matter of fact, if I recall. Although it does pale in comparison to sub, who is at 2 years and counting.
But sub is a sub.
That is correct. And we've also got censored in. So, okay. So we wanted to start off going over. So we're going to recap, and then we're going to talk about our original preseason predictions, since we're close to the halfway mark. I'm not sure where the halfway mark is on a 17-week slate, but we'll figure that out. So last week, Wardy ended up in the tank. Ripper went stellar 12-4 on his picks against the straight up. Striker went 11-5. Again, another stellar mark. Wardy bringing in the back at 10-6. Against the spread, as always, Vegas had an advantage. 8-8 for Striker and Ripper. Wardy finishing in 7-9. Damn you, Falcons! I can never count on you. Also, damn you, Colts. And I should have done the reverse jinx on the Titans because they got a quarterback. So I guess let's stay here on the week. We had a lot of discussion about the Bills not making the spread. You guys were right. I was wrong. Cowboys came out and throttled the Rams, something I didn't really expect. But that D does have a moment of moments that it takes over games. The Vikings won by 14, but they did lose Kirk Cousins in the process. Now they're being held. They're handing the reins over to Joshua Dobbs. I don't know what that means. I don't know if Dobbs knows the playbook or if he's just going to have the handoff right, handoff left. That's definitely going to make their season look a little different. Titans found a quarterback, and DeAndre Hopkins liked it. They beat the Falcons. Saints over the Colts, who did not throw a pick six. Damn you, David Carr. The Dolphins look good in taking out the Patriots by 2 touchdowns. The Jets in a upset over a boring game over the Giants. The Jags took care of business against the Steelers on the road. Eagles, despite trying to blow it to the Commanders, did not. Panthers won their first game, and something I said they might win, but I didn't have the cojones to go ahead and pick them. Seahawks won by 4. The Broncos beat the Chiefs in Mile High, which I think was just a fluke. The Ravens won over the Cards because a Raven is a much more deadly bird than a Cardinal. The Bengals upset the 49ers. 49ers may be in trouble. Chargers over the Bears. The Bears. And the Lions finish out the week knocking off a pretty bad Raider team that then fired everybody and their brother. Anything from last week that made you made the spider senses tingle?
Well, first off, I'd like to mention that I had an asterisk on that Miami game with Tyreek Hill playing. Had I known he was playing, I would have picked Miami. But other than that, nothing really. Other than the Broncos beating the Chiefs, which is out there.
I mean, those things happen, though. And as you said, that's a divisional.
So you picked Miami, though. You just didn't pick the over. So,
correct.
I mean,
you know what I meant.
I got a tiny violin for you. That's what I got.
What did Deion Sanders say when he broke the when he came to the combine and allegedly had the fastest 40 time ever? Is cheetah doesn't stretch. Cheetahs don't stretch when they run.
So, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Tyreek is fast. So, And speaking of which, halfway to a 2,000-yard season, which is amazing.
So the Chiefs Broncos was weird though, because that was the first time the Broncos have ever beaten the Chiefs when Mahomes was quarterback. So
I was gonna say ever.
No,
Seem to
but
recall some
yeah,
Super
sorry.
Bowl years. So yeah, it was. I mean, but I've said the Chiefs don't look right, and you guys are like they just win. I don't believe that. I believe with the exception of teams like the Eagles that are a little ugly every time they win, and that's just how they play. I think there's something wrong with the Chiefs this year. It's called no wide receivers. And
Did they
Mahomes
really have
doesn't look
anything
the
last
same.
year?
Yeah, I guess at some point you lose till you can't lose no more.
I don't know. They keep winning, right? So it's not like, I mean, yeah, they lost against Denver, but I don't know. It's hard to say they're having a bad season when they've only had what? How many losses? They have 3?
2 Lions and then
2.
this one.
Yeah, come on now.
Oh, it's not. It's to me, it's
not like they have 3 in a row like the 49ers.
Yeah, the defense has definitely gotten an upgrade this year, which is the difference, I think. So the offense has slipped, but the defense has definitely gotten better. So, anything else for this week before we talk about our pickies?
Can we make a shout out to the fact that like everybody and their brother is sick? Because
yeah,
well,
except
the
me.
benchings, right? So Garoppolo's benched in Stanford, and
I think he means
Raider
you and Stryker are sick. So
and Daniel's sick, and yeah.
Oh, and Daniel's
I get sick, and I'm good. I mean, I have to be good by tomorrow. So,
Ripper has no choice to be ill, so you will be fine.
Correct.
Um,
Garoppolo being benched, that was big. Expected, kind of.
Well, I mean, the Raiders had to make some change, right?
Yeah, because they got rid of their quarterback, and that didn't work.
You know, they fired who? Josh McDaniels. I knew who he was. Right? I was being funny.
I think the funny part is to me is the Will Levis just absolutely smoking last week. Like nobody saw that coming.
I mean, Will Levis, he's like, I got this.
Right. Well, other than Will Levis and his mom, but
other teams are having new quarterbacks. So we got Raiders, we've got Vikings with a new one.
Cards.
And what about over there? And your favorite team land?
The Titans.
Yeah. Yeah. Favorite team.
Yeah. that's them.
Dobbs to the Vikings. That's I don't know, man. I think they're going to struggle more than anything at this point.
Also, the Giants.
Oh yeah, Danny DeVito. I think the Cards are going to struggle with a new quarterback. To be honest, I mean he's coming in from another team, has to learn the playbook. Obviously, there's a lot of the language and setup that he'll know because he's a professional football player, but you still got to get chemistry and timing with your receivers, so on and so forth. So I'd actually stream against them on defense, to be honest.
Well, and I was gonna the one that gets me is the Raiders. You never know what the hell when they do something like this. It's like do they come out and they're galvanized and it was just McDaniel's fault, he couldn't call plays and we're actually an awesome team, or do they just implode? Changing quarterbacks too. I mean, you're not. I mean, who knows? He might be the next Will Levis, but I don't think so.
Time will tell.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about our preseason picks. So, in the AFC, we all picked the Jags to win. I feel pretty good about that pick. Ripper took the Bills. I took the Jets. Not feeling so comfy about that one. Didn't know that Aaron Rodgers was going to go down. Although they still have a shot. I mean, they're still in it. And then Striker took Cincy. So, how do you guys feel?
I'm pretty comfy about Cincy right now. I mean, Burrow seems to be coming back, so they looked good last week. I mean, I'm of the 3 options of the Bills, the Jets, and the Bengals. I'll take the Bengals any day of the week. So, still all in on the Jags though.
I think I'm still liking the Bills. Obviously, I still like the Jags. I mean, was my pick for the Super Bowl as well, right?
Correct.
But you're right in the fact that Cincy is starting to look like Cincy again, which is great. Not for me because I didn't pick Burrows, but whatever. I still have Sunshine, and I still believe the Bills will be in the game. So I'm still good with those picks, to be honest.
And Sunshine is not doing terrible. He's they're not slinging it 50 times a game, right? So he's and I mean last game he got 300 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. It's not. They're still. I think that's the last thing that comes along is scoring consistently. Unless you're Patrick Mahomes. They seem to be driving between the 20s. Yeah, they're 6-2. They seem to be driving between the 20s really, really well. It's when we get in the red zone that things get a little more dicey. For the NFC, we had me and Ripper had the 49ers going, and Stryker had the Seahawks. Ripper had the Eagles winning. I had the Niners winning. The Cowboys is the runners up, and then Stryker had the Cowboys. I feel good. I think even though San Francisco has got a 3-game losing streak, they just traded for Chase Young. That doesn't. God, do they need any more weapons on that team? I think them getting Debo back healthy and a couple other players healthy, and they'll be right back to kicking butt.
I don't disagree with that. I have questions though at Purdy. The last 3 games,
he's looked average, or below average, right?
And again, with that defense and adding on Chase Young and all that, again, defense wins championship, sure, but
you got the score. You still got the score.
A lot of these offenses are built to just outscore teams now, right? So, yeah, you do. And if it's Philly versus San Fran in the NFC Championship, and Purdy's playing average, I can see Philly taking it. However, I think that this Cowboys Philly game is going to tell me a lot about where the direction the NFC is going. Now, yes, Dak is still inconsistent, and I don't think that they'll be in the NFC Championship. I just don't know if Philly's going to be there anymore, and we'll see how they play this game. Philly's look a little suspect lately, man.
That is true.
They're
still
7-1. They're shaky.
They're still 7-1. Yeah,
but they've been shaky, and we'll see. If the Cowboys can come in and dominate them defensively, I don't see Philly having any chance against the 49ers.
Which I guess that's the flip side of the teams looking bad is there's teams that just get it done. And at some point when you have X amount of talent, the percentages, if you just don't play stupid football and turn the ball over a lot, you're going to be able to out-talent the other team at the end. Which is what they did to the Commanders, right? They were down pretty big, and they just stopped making mistakes, and eventually they out-talented the Commanders.
And the Chiefs look beatable on the other side.
Except for when they play the Jags. So
hey, though, we got to say something about that game real quick.
Which game?
I know I say Russell. Sorry, I went back to Denver and Kansas City. I know I say Russell belongs in the Sweet Pickles bus, and I kind of still believe that, but stat-wise, isn't he leader in a lot of categories?
Yeah, it's the defense this year. I don't know how they flipped and Denver went from a top 4 defense to a bottom 4, but they sure did it.
However, though, the stats of last game: 12 for 19, 114 yards and 3 touchdowns, no picks. Great, but 114 yards.
They got all up over they were all over the Chiefs early, weren't they? At some point, you just do with what's working.
Well, they scored a touchdown in the first quarter, second quarter, nothing in the third, and then 10 points in the fourth.
Yeah.
Mahomes threw 2 picks, so let's go with that too.
That's very unusual. Stryker, how you feeling about your Seahawks Cowboys pick?
I'm pretty actually thrilled about the Seahawks right now, given they just beat the Browns in a game that I didn't expect them. I wanted them to win, and I homer picked them to win, but I didn't actually expect them to win. So
5-3.
Yeah, 5-3, but they just picked up a defensive guy from the Giants as part of the trade deadline, and
unfortunately,
they're moving the ball.
They're not as good as Chase Young.
They 5-3 or 5-2?
5-2.
5-2, yeah.
So they're actually in first place.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
They're moving the ball well. I think. When you come down to it, at the end of the day, the Super Bowl. It's going to be the Eagles Cowboys. coming out of the NFC, it's going to be the Eagles, Cowboys, or the Seahawks, 49ers, right? So, I mean, it's one of those 4 teams, I think, is who's going to come out, and you could coin flip on either side to who's going to get there. But
You're saying it's not going to be the Bears?
Well, let's not even get into the Bears making
the Bears.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. 2 and 6, what they're trading stuff for, but whatever.
Right. Yeah, I like where Seahawks are going right now. I think San Francisco could pick it back up, but I mean, this is going to be an interesting NFC West to watch for sure.
Okay, so Super Bowls we had Ripper taking the Jaguars over the Eagles, which, yeah, I would be happy with that. Me taking the Jags, losing to the 49ers, and I thought I was crazy at the beginning of the year. And Striker taking the Seahawks over the Jags. So I'm assuming we all feel good about those picks because they're actually somewhat logical.
In the AFC, I still feel good about the Jags, yes.
Not so much about the Eagles. Well, you're going to wait till this week. This week, if you guys hammer the Eagles, that pick will be no longer.
Well, I mean, in the AFC, I still feel good about the Jags, and I think the dark horse now for me coming up in difference, right? The Bills are, I think, to me, the Dolphins are still kind of a dark horse. The Chiefs will always be something there, but they are struggling. You're right, the receiver situation and things look a little struggleish. We'll see. But I think the team you'd really need to look at, and is a dark horse for me, is the Dolphins. I think a lot of people are just passing over them per se, anyways, but Tyreek Hill, Waddle, they've got some pretty good athletes over there, bro.
Yeah, they're explosive on offense. Having Ramsey come back can't hurt. I love the fact that McDaniels had a press conference and he was like, "I'm kind of disappointed in Ramsey." He said he was going to come back and get a pick 6, and then instead he got a pick 3.
Pick 3, yeah.
That was great. How about you, Strike?
I mean, I still think the Jaguars. I actually would change my pick now to the Jaguars winning the Super Bowl. I just think they're going to click on all cylinders.
Wow.
But yeah, sorry.
Damn it.
No,
I know.
Damn it.
I mean, it's nice people saying you're going to win the Super Bowl instead of the number 1 pick. So,
I think Striker just jinxed it.
Probably. But that's okay.
Honest.
Okay, so moving on to this week. Speaking of the Jaguars, they're on bye, as are the 49ers. So they'll be resting up to play each other, and I think that's going to show a lot about how we're doing. So the first game of the week, the Thursday night game, is the Titans playing the Steelers. Titans with a new quarterback. The Steelers, having played them, they are still tough little SOBs. TJ Watt is still a football player.
Oh, for sure. That's going to be someone that we'll be hearing for a long time, right? TJ Watt, obviously, look at his brother, right? But that's definitely a Hall of Famer down the road, and he'll always be a problem no matter what team you play. Steelers are plucky. On the other hand, Titans, you said, got a new quarterback. Levi. Will Levis. Hey, man, he went 238.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah.
He did pretty good. Henry went pretty good. I mean, the team looked good, but again, they're playing the Falcons, right? Which I did pick the Falcons to win, but I mean, Falcons have problems, I think.
Like the inability of the forward pass.
Yeah, still have great running backs, but still.
Just so you know, the Steelers are favored by 2.5.
Titans look good against the Falcons. They did win 28-23, so it wasn't like a blowout. Steelers are, again, a plucky team with Watt, and just in general, I think their coaching is really good.
And if you had Hopkins on your bench, raise your hand.
Yeah, we'll leave that to you, homie.
I played in the money league that the 3 of us are in against the guy who had Hopkins on his bench this last week. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Overall, though, this game, I mean, neither one of their offenses are statistically, anyways, like very stellar in my opinion. Defensively, I think.
Well, and remember, we killed Kenny.
There you go. I think
so he's not going to be in. He's got messed up ribs.
Who's the quarterback?
Kenny Pickett. It's Trubisky if Pickett can't go.
I know you said you killed Kenny, so I guess it's Trubisky.
Well, we didn't break his ribs. He just got him really.
And it wasn't like
he was
playing
out for
great.
the whole basically after the second quarter.
Yeah, Kenny's got 1330 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 4 picks. It's not like he was tearing it up right now.
Correct.
Johnson's back though, and he looks solid. I think he's going to have a pretty good whatever we have left, 9 games, 10 games. And you want to pick the Titans just based on their last performance and wow, they look good, but the Steelers are well coached. They've got a defense that's plucky as heck, in my opinion, anyways. Maybe not statistically, but T.J. Watt is a beast. It's just the other parts of it, right? Harris, Warren, all those guys that you start looking at going,
Well, it's a team on the Steelers side. They don't have a very good offense, right? They've got a pretty good defense, and they're playing a Tennessee defense that's half and half. Like they're kind of they're average on one. They're really good against one of the like they're halfway against the pass and great against the run. And then until last week, they were middling offense too, right? So they're kind of the same boat.
Yeah, I just think that the Titans look a little. They have a little spark under them now, right? Maybe it's Levi, maybe it's not, but he and D Hops look to connect really well. I think Derrick Henry's running well.
3 touchdowns says yes.
I'm gonna take the Titans here to cover.
Well, there is no cover. They just the Titans win.
Oh, they're not favored. My bad. I thought they were favored by 2.5.
No, the Steelers are up by 3.5.
So I'm taking the Titans. I think they win this one. I think they win by a touchdown.
So I don't know if this is one of those. The quarterback had no game film, and he's if no one had it, because you prepare for the quarterback, and then all of a sudden he's out, and then you're like, who's this guy? And he's doing stuff that you had no idea you thought was gonna just didn't know was gonna happen. So I don't know if it was the case or but throwing, he looked again. They weren't like dink and dunk passes. He was throwing lawn darts at range. He might be a really good quarterback, and this might be something the Titans need. So, and Henry's starting to run the ball again. They play solid defense. On the flip side, the Steelers looked well coached, but if Trubisky's playing, man, he's terrible. Like just not good. And if Pickett's playing, I don't know that he's. I mean, the problem he was having in the game when he warmed up is he just had no mustard on his throws. So, assuming the Titans rookie quarterback doesn't have a meltdown, and assuming that Pickett can't go and it's Trubisky, I'm going with the Titans.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go against you guys here. So I don't think the Falcons were expecting to see Levis, and they weren't prepared for him. Yeah. So Steelers cover. I don't think it's about Trubisky. I don't think it's about Pickett. I think it's about the fact that Levis is going to face a real defense for this week. And I think, and I know you guys are all celebrating in the back of your mind because anytime Striker picks against you, you're happy.
Yeah, but now you're on cold meds, so you might actually be on the right frame of mind. I don't know. So.
Right. But I mean, for me, I just don't see the Titans. I mean, they've got Hopkins, but the Falcons have nobody on their secondary to cover. Like the Falcons had no secondary. That's the problem I've got is that the Falcons just didn't cover well, whereas the Steelers have got. I mean, they've got Joey Porter Jr. or the third or whatever he is, the cornerback whose dad was the linebacker, and I mean they can cover. So
they don't have Mika Fitzpatrick though.
No, they don't. You're right.
Porter's a rookie.
Yeah.
That kid's pretty special though. So.
Yeah,
I'm still going to take Steelers, and I'm going to keep these short this week because my brain is mush as all get out right now. But Steelers by 3.
Okay. Cool. I don't have a schedule this week. I forgot to do that. So
Dolphins Chiefs in Europe is the next one up.
Oh God, I hate those 8:00 games. Can we please change that from being 8:00 games? Please?
Speaking of which, it is Fallback Sunday, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Does that mean we lose an hour?
Yep. Oh, you gain an hour.
Okay, I like gaining an hour. They were talking about doing away with daylight savings time.
Yeah, so it passed the Senate, hasn't passed the House yet. It's if it ever gets through the House, it'll go to the president and be signed.
The
I like
president.
that. Save us on having to find lights for practice sometimes.
Yeah.
Are
so
we gay now or what do you mean? So it's
yeah.
going forward?
So your body will think it's 9:30, but it's really 8:30 in the morning.
No, I know, but when the time changes, we're going backwards, aren't we?
Right.
2 a.m. becomes 1 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Nice. The bars honor that.
Yes, they do. An extra hour of pumping you full of drinks. All right. Chiefs and the Dolphins. Should be a fun game. Which team wakes up for the long trip overseas, huh?
Yeah, that and Tyreek Hill playing his old team. A couple of storylines here. This game's gonna be again in Europe, so we got to see. You're right. Which team does wake up play? We've seen that happen already. Who was the Bills or somebody?
Yes, the
It
Bills
was
did not wake
horrible.
up until the third quarter.
Correct. Man, this isn't. This to me is gonna be a shootout. I know we see Patrick Mahomes this and that, but a shootout in the sense I don't think the Dolphins have the defense, in my opinion, again to stop the whole pitch and catch between Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey. The running game for the Chiefs isn't the greatest out there, right? Pacheco's all right. Mahomes can move the ball a little bit. It's just that you're right. There's no receivers there, and who else is going to throw to Kelsey? I mean, you should double team that guy or something, in my opinion. If they don't,
Can you put 7 guys on one guy? Is that legal?
he still gets open. What's the spread on this one?
The
-1.
Chiefs by
Chiefs.
1.5.
Wow. So this is really a toss-up, and I agree with that. I think it can go either way, right? I think both teams are going to have plenty of firepower. I think defensively the Chiefs are stronger than the Dolphins, but man, even a strong defense can't stop Tyreek Hill. He's just too fast. It's going to be a good game, and it is a toss-up. End of day, though. I mean, offensively, the Dolphins are top stats everywhere. Chiefs aren't that bad either. It's just that the defense, in my opinion, is better on the Chiefs side, and such a close game going by 1.5 or whatnot. Tough one, but I don't see the Chiefs losing 2 in a row, and I'm going to go with the Chiefs winning this one.
That's the why. That's the why for me. The Chiefs probably won in Denver, and it might have been one of those they're looking forward to the Miami game and just totally laid an egg in Denver. I think the Chiefs are not going to lose 2 in a row. I think these are the matchups I'm really interested in. Jalen Ramsey's coming back. Maybe they put Ramsey on Kelsey and say, see what you can do. And maybe they shut it down. I don't.
Yeah, right.
Again, I don't know. But if anybody could do it, it's Ramsey on Kelsey, right? And that's their one star chess piece they have on defense. For the flip side, the Chiefs' defense has been really, really good, and maybe they do slow down Miami. And then, if it's close, it's really hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes. He's already got the clunker out of the way last week. So, this is one I would not touch. These teams again, I could see either one of these teams winning. But since you have to pick, I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to cover.
The reason I was laughing is Ramsey is not a big man, right? So Kelsey is a big man.
He has a big ego, though.
Oh, okay, because that makes all the difference in the world.
Unfortunately, I'm in the same ballpark, which is that if the Chiefs hadn't gotten spanked by the Broncos last week, I'd be in a different mindset. But Chiefs are going to come out and smoke this one, so Chiefs cover.
Man.
And I honestly don't think it's going to be a blowout, man. I think this game's going to be. This is one of the games of the week that I want to watch, by the way.
Well, and to me, honestly, I would say both sides have potential, but I would say the Dolphins have the big. If the Dolphins get out to a big lead, they might run away with it, right? That's probably the way they win is they win it by a good handle, and it's at the end of the game, if Mahomes is down by 21 in the fourth quarter, and he can't come back, that might be how they win. So they do have the stars.
So the over/under is 50.5 for this game. Are we taking the over or the under on that one?
I think the over. I think it's going to be
because it's in overseas. I would take the under. I think
Jet
both of these
lag,
teams are going to
fatigue,
be jet
maybe.
lagged and not used to it, and it's just having the Jags go over there every year and seeing us who does it again once or twice every year. We're so used to it, and it's such a routine. And you see it like the Bills came in, and I swear to God, they were asleep the first 2 quarters.
No, man. Like you said earlier, didn't you say a cheetah doesn't need to stretch, or what you say?
Yeah, well, the cheetah, the Tyreek is the cheetah, and I can see the Dolphins going up big, and then Chiefs going, what just happened? Why are we down by 30 points? But I don't see them losing 2 in a row. So, we got the Vikes and the Falcons in the wow. The next game of the. I mean, to
And
me,
the
the Falcons.
first-
Neither one's have a
First
quarterback,
post
right?
Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
Achilles.
You know, having a new quarterback, having to learn the system, which again, some of the lingo, some of the verbiage is all the same, so he'll be all right. But you still have to get the chemistry with the team you're coming to play with, right? You've got to be able to get your timing down with your receivers, so on and so forth. And luckily for the Vikes, Jefferson's down, but Addison has looked really good. Uh, and I think we said that coming into it preseason, but it's going to be tough. And I don't think the Falcons' defense is great on the other side, but they're not bad. They're at least a top 10 defense. I know that the Titans were passing against them and they looked great, but I don't see the Vikings coming in here without Kirk Cousins and having the same kind of chemistry. I think we're going to see some picks from Dobbs. The fact that Dobbs can move the ball, he can wheel, right? He can run.
Yeah. I mean, he's
Dobbs not bad at running the ball.
yeah, he's no Atlanta Falcon quarterback who runs all the time, but yeah, he can run.
Tough game for him to come back, man. New quarterback on a new team. I get the spark to that and that excitement of, man, if he could do it, he could pull it off, and there's all this excitement around it, but I don't see it. I think the Falcons take this one. What's the spread though?
Falcons by 5.
Yeah, I think the Falcons are going to cover. I think it's going to be a tough game for a quarterback into a new team right off the bat, right? Like he was on another roster just a few days ago, and you're coming in and giving him 2-3 days of preparation and say, hey, let's go and go win us a game. I don't see it. I think he will get there, but he's going to struggle this game. I'm going to give it to the Falcons, although the Falcons don't have much, and I'm probably like betting against myself on this, but Riddler isn't great. They do have the running backs. They do have the receivers. It just, if the Falcons had a better quarterback, and I think that's the key here, I think they would be
A
a
contender.
pretty good team right
Yeah,
now.
they'd be a contender.
For sure. Because they've got the running game and they have the pieces. London, Pitts, those are all good athletes. It's just the quarterback. But I still think that the fact that Dobbs is coming into a new team, I think I see him throwing some picks. I see him having some problems here, and I think the Falcons are going to get away with him just because Dobbs is in a new system this week.
Well, and the pressure was on last week, because they basically said that Kyler's coming back, and he kind of knew that this was it for him, and he had a terrible game, right? So,
and landed on his feet.
Well, and then he landed on his feet in Minnesota, where they're like, "We need a competent quarterback. Who's around? This guy." Kirk Cousins is. We said it. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFC. Like, even though we all think of him as Kirk Cousins, and that's a step below of the elite quarterbacks in the AFC, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFC. If you want to say Dak Prescott 2.0 or Dak Prescott North, whatever, he does throw his picks. He was getting on his stride, and that's going to be gone. And when you take that away and you put in an average or below average quarterback, which I think Dobbs is, you're going to struggle. Throw in the fact he doesn't know the playbook at all, and then you're minimizing the playbook, and now the Falcons are going to actually look competent on defense, right? Because they don't. I mean, you only got 20 plays. You're going to start seeing the same plays over again. So I mean, and I hate betting on the Falcons because I keep messing it up. But I'm going to go with you on the Falcons and the fact that the Vikes just can't score enough points.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm with you guys on that one. I think Cousins. I think the loss isn't the quarterback; it's the leadership position that's lost, and that's really, I think, where they're going to really hurt is so I'm taking Falcons and Falcons cover. But watching that quarterback show on Netflix, Cousins is a leader, and you can make fun of him all you want, but that boy knows how to lead.
I don't make fun of him. It's just there is.
He's just cheap,
we said
right?
it. We said it last
good
year.
old boy.
We were like, you look at him and we said it last year when we were looking at him and Aaron Rodgers, and they had comparable stats. And you go, are they the same guy? And then Aaron Rodgers goes out and just beats the dog snot out of him, and you're like, oh no, they're not. I think there are certain, and I'm scared about Lawrence this being the same way. I think there's certain quarterbacks that wilt under pressure, and certain quarterbacks that rise up in the pressure. Like Patrick Mahomes is one of those. Yeah, we're down by 40. Okay, not a problem. I got this, coach. And he does amazing things. So, I've always felt that Cousins has played above his talent level, which is great. But when it comes to the big game, he Dax it, right? He Dakotas.
D.
Okay. Cardinals are going to be playing the Browns.
Well, welcome back, little people's leader. What do you call him?
Welcome back. The
Oompa Loompa?
Lilliputian leader.
Lilliputian leader, yeah. We'll see how he turns out, right? I mean, they're bringing him back straight in after no game time, whatever.
Well, and I don't know that it's 100% he's back. Like they've said him or, I mean, before they traded Dobbs, they said him or the other backup, which is someone I've never heard of.
What did they get for Dobbs?
It's like a pick. They got like a 6th-round pick.
Wow. And why would you dump Dobbs now if you don't even know if Kyler's coming, right?
Well, because they got so much money wrapped in Kyler, they got to take the chance.
Roger. But if he's not going to play this week, wouldn't you rather have Dobbs and the other backup? I guess it really doesn't
I think
matter.
you want the number 1 pick.
So. I also think you're at the point where you've got to make a move, unlike the Raiders, who didn't make trades that they should have.
Well, Kyler Murray or the other guy, I don't see them playing great against the Browns defense. I think they will struggle hard, especially if it's Kyler. I think Kyler, to me, is not that old, but should be on a sweet pickles retirement bus. He's just, to me, he's not a quarterback. That makes sense. He could be somewhat of a small slot receiver or something and probably be successful in the NFL, but quarterback isn't there for me. Maybe not even that, because he's like one big hit away from never playing again. But
we talked about it. He's an athlete. He's got a great arm. He can run like the wind. He's 4 foot tall, and that's not a good combination for being a quarterback.
No, not when your linemen are 6'5".
Correct.
Yeah, they don't allow booster seats, or what do they call little step ladders in the NFL right now?
Even walker. They don't even let you have a walker.
Anyways, I think the defense is too much on the Browns side. I know the Browns having their own little problems, but quite honestly, I think the run game is great with the Browns. The defense is good. I think the Browns will be okay. In this game anyways, I just don't see the Cardinals having enough, whether Murray's back or not. It's just not there. That team has problems right now. The only small shining spot for the Cardinals right now is probably someone I've been looking at lately is I don't know how to say his last name. He's a running back, DeMarco, I don't know how to say his last name, but he looked pretty good.
Mario or
that guy. What is the spread on this one?
Browns by 8.
See,
that's a great spread. Like, can the Browns score 8 points? Is 7 the max they can score?
Whenever you say 8 is when I get kind of. I mean, the Cardinals didn't look bad against the Ravens, but they got rid of the quarterback. Oh, they did look bad, but Dobbs is gone, and I don't think Murray's going to do very well right off the bat. So, tough one here, but I am going to see the Browns win this one.
But we got that. They're going to cover. So Browns by 9.
I think they will. I think the defense is going to be too much for little people.
Oh. Daniel, if you're out there, what's Browns by 12 is what Harley says. Man. So I am going to go with the Browns because it's, yeah. Let's talk a moment about the Browns quarterback, though. Has there ever been a dumber decision than signing Deshaun Watson to a $260 million guaranteed contract with the stuff that's going on right now. Like, it has to be one of the dumbest decisions ever. Patrick Mahomes didn't have a $260 million guaranteed contract. And does Baker look like an upgrade or a downgrade right now?
Neither one look great.
I mean,
it's
but
the Browns, man.
but
Any
but
quarterback
what are you
position
paying
for the
Baker?
Browns is
It
hard.
ain't no $260 million.
No, of course not. But
So-
they thought, again, it's the Browns thinking it was going to be an upgrade. And I think they should have known better with all the red flags and just stayed away from it. But it is what it is at this point.
Oh,
Peanut butter Walker, baby.
Browns by 9. Sure, I can believe that. 9-1, 9-0.
Sound like it.
Well, there's just my thing is they're not good at scoring either. Like, they're not going to give them any points. But I legitimately think this could be a 9-0
Let me
game.
ask Striker a question. Striker, do you believe your Seahawks defense is what? Ranking them from top 10 defenses, where would you put them?
I mean, they're right around 10.
All right,
I wouldn't
so you
put 'em-
fairly good defense?
Fairly good, but not great.
Okay, but PJ Walker went 15 for 31, 248, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks. Not great, but it's still a 24-20 game, right? You still have the run game. I think they didn't play great, but they also didn't play horrible, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they got pressure early. Cleveland figured it out in the middle of the game, and they got pressure late. That's kind of how I look at it.
Well, I mean, the Seahawks scored their 17 points. They scored most of their points in the first quarter.
Right.
They went 2 quarters, no points, and at the end they scored another touchdown, which wanted for them. But wasn't that big? I don't remember the end of that game, but didn't they get an interception or something towards the end to put in that winning score? That put them in good field position.
There was something. There was a
right.
turnover or on downs. Like there was something. There's some craziness that happened.
Looks like
You are asking
a
my
fumble?
COVID-addled brain to remember that, and I'm looking that up right now.
Either
I
way,
don't
though,
remember.
I think the Browns, again, based on who they're playing here, I think they can cover, man. The Cardinals are going to come out with a whole bunch of turnovers. They are. They just are. It is what it is. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't believe their leadership is better with Murray.
Cleveland was 3rd and 3 at the Cleveland 41, and PJ Walker threw a pick with 2 minutes left in the game that Seahawks were able to drive down and score on.
And that's the factor, right? That's going to be the factor against Arizona, but Arizona's defense isn't that good, so I wouldn't worry too much. The factor is going to be Peanut Butter Walker, right, in this game. I don't think it's.
We
enough
love you,
for
Peanut
Arizona
Butter
to win.
Walker.
So I'm just going to stick to the Browns covering. I think there'll be a little much for the Cardinals, especially the defense, man. Little people's going to throw at least 2 picks.
Of course, the little
I
people
hate-
could run 400 yards of this game too.
I
That's
hate
the Browns.
anything that's the plus a touchdown cover. Like, so the Saints 7.5 later on, I hate too, but I mean,
Well, that's where Vegas has to get you, right? You got to go
Right.
8. You got to go 7.5.
right. I just don't have the energy for this game, so it's Browns and Browns by 9, and I'm gonna be good with that, and we'll just move on.
Nice. Moving on is good.
And I don't. One of the things we're going to do next year is we're going to give everybody one underdog a week that you got to pick, and we're going to assume you put $100 on it, and then what the goal is to pick the highest odd underdog, right? Because that's where you make your money at, is picking on the dogs and not picking on the favorites, right? If you put $100 on like the Chiefs most week, you're going to get $5 back. So,
You're going to see who makes the most money at the end of the
yeah,
season?
yeah. See who makes it.
Right.
It's kind of a side thing, right? So that'll be fun. Because that way, because right now what we're doing is we're picking what we should, right? Which is this team should win, which they're favored to win. But that'll make us try to look at see who's the riskiest underdog that we feel have a chance to win, right?
We're picking some dogs this year, aren't we?
I mean, we
Are we always
we
picking the
are,
favorite?
but it's when you're pretty sure. I mean, yeah, we are, but like I said, there's a lot of games I wouldn't bet. Like I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole. Like there's too many. Is Murray going to come back and play inspirational little people ball and run it all over the Browns? Are the Browns going to even show up? Are they going to have any sort of offense? You just don't.
The funny part is, looking at the schedule for this week, I don't see a big dog. I don't see anything that's you would consider a big underdog, to be honest.
Uh,
All of them are pretty matched up record-wise. Maybe the Arizona Cleveland game, but other than that, everyone's kind of matched up record-wise.
yeah, they are.
There's two big games I want to watch this week. But
Yeah, they're really. It's really one of those weeks that everybody's kind of like bad team against bad team, right? So, yep. Okay, so we got that. So next up, we got the Rams playing the Packers. I'm gonna say it. Ripper was right on Jordan Love. I didn't think somebody could sit behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years and not learn a damn thing, but it happened.
Yeah, but was that him not learning, or Aaron really just being a, you know?
I don't know. You would think just watching the guy play, you'd be like, "Oh, I learned a few things," but that did not happen.
Yeah, but look at Steve Young, Montana, right? Like he sat behind Montana, and you can see he taught him something. He talked to him, he showed him things, he gave him tips. They spent time in the same quarterback's room. I guess Love could have done the same thing, but I look at Aaron Rodgers and he seems so closed off to everybody else, right? He's a weirdo, bro.
Do you ever watch him on the McAfee show?
No.
Yeah, that's he's funny too, and he has
Rodgers?
a damn near. I mean, he's got an incredible memory for the game. Like he's like, oh, in 2016, week 5, play 13, like this happened, and it's like, wow.
Well, I mean, your quarterbacks say are high intelligence. They should be, anyways, unless you're the guy from the Raiders didn't watch film.
Jamarcus.
Yeah, that guy who should have watched film and not said he did. But most of your quarterbacks are of high intelligence, man. They have so much to remember. You remember every play a quarterback should know where everybody's at. And the way these playbooks are in the NFL, they're so extensive and so, if you listen to a whole, I mean, we should Google one, a whole play for the NFL. I mean,
I have,
nowhere near what we call in youth or even high school.
No,
probably, to be honest.
because each play is based on where the players are lining up. So, for example, if the wide receiver might have a post pattern, right, that breaks into a in if the corner is sitting press. Like that's how those plays are. And you're right, they have to know based on where the defense is lining up, both the quarterback and the wide receiver need to know what's going on. Like there was a play last week where the running back read the route wrong and he took a flat route and widened it upfield right into where the wide receiver is and basically caused a pick because his man was right there instead of the wide receiver.
Correct. But the one, like, when you hear a play like that, if you're the wide receiver, your responsibility is, two things, right? You run a go route, or if safety's this, and the play tells you you're gonna run a post, or you're gonna drop back into it, whatever.
Yeah.
That as a receiver, I hear the play, I know my part. That's all I'm worried about. A quarterback has to know
where everyone
all
is.
parts
Yeah.
of it. Yeah. What everybody's doing. I mean, you have to have high intelligence. You got to read a defense. You got to sit there knowing that whole play in your head, knowing what everybody's going to do, and then read the defense. And kind of a really smart quarterback will already know what that receiver's going to do pre-snap.
Did you hear the one about Mahomes and the Mike linebacker?
No.
Basically, he didn't know what the Mike linebacker was when he first got in. Which, again, there's also a few quarterbacks that are special.
Yeah, but what Mahomes didn't know, he made up a test.
Correct. But I can throw with my left hand, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. He just told him, well, I never had to worry about the mic because, I'm talented. How did he not know, though? What did they do at Texas Tech that they didn't teach him that?
Misfit says Rams all day. Well, again, different offense, right? So.
Yeah, but different offense, sure. But the mic is a call out that almost every quarterback, everywhere.
Well, yeah, I thought that, but then Stryker didn't know the gaps the other day. So.
What?
So we were talking gaps football, and
I mean, I've never played a down of football in my life.
Well, he's never played, right? And even the gaps are a little weird depending on certain things because some people start with 0 at the quarterback or at the center, and go 2, 4, 6, 8 and 1, 3, 5, 7, and some people go 0 and 1 on each butt cheek of the center.
Correct.
And some just, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Different ways. You know,
No,
some
quarterbacks are
use
smart.
them- yeah, because now you're doing 1A, 2A, 2B to tell you which way to shade. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Bro. It's changed so much from back when we played, where it was like, hey, you're gonna hit the 2 gap. 22 dive, cool. 2 back gets it, 2 gap. It was easy. But now it's so complicated. It really is, even at the youth level. So, anyways,
Packers and Rams.
yeah. So Jordan Love, he ain't all that. He doesn't have. I mean, yeah, his completion rate is under 60%. Not great. He has 1,492 yards, 11 touchdowns, 8 picks. Uh, the lack of receivers, maybe not, because Aaron Rodgers didn't have great receivers either. I don't know. I just don't think he's all that. We've been through that. This game here, I think the Rams are a little, what do we want to say here? Shell shock, beat up. I don't know. The Cowboys just put a wallop in on them.
Well, Stafford also sprained his thumb and got some sort of UC injury in the thumb, so that can't help.
Well, he's beat up. They still have them great receivers, don't they?
Yeah.
Puka, Tutu, and Cup.
The 4-letter boys.
Arguably or debate whatever the best receiver core in the NFL right now, in my opinion. They've got some great receivers.
Oh, the greatest receiving core in the NFL.
There you go. This way, the Packers defense is all right. If Matthew Stafford plays, I think they do enough to beat the Packers. What's the spread on this?
I'm not checking. Packers by 3.
Really? I'm going to go with the Rams on this one, to be honest. I think that they'll, even if Stafford's not playing, man, those receivers are great, and they'll make a difference. Obviously, it didn't beat the Cowboys, but the Packers don't have the Cowboys defense.
Yeah.
I think they come in here and they take care of business.
So, Packers by 4?
C. No, what? Rams.
I'm sorry. I meant to say.
Like,
I meant to say the Rams.
yeah.
I was doing too many multitasking.
Rams win.
I was about to be like, well, that's free money for you and I, Wardy. So
No, Rams. I'm going to pick the Rams as well. I think even if Stafford can't hold on to the football, he can still do better than Rodgers. And really, or not Rodgers, Love. And then, again, Aaron Jones, man, he just isn't. They need a running game. They got to have a running game, and they don't have one. So, not looking good in Green Bay.
yeah, I'm gonna keep the short. Rams by 4, or Rams, I guess, not Rams
Not
by
Rams.
4. Rams.
Don't make the same mistake I did.
Yeah, the Packers just don't look good. That simple.
I think I'm right now. I'm trying to the multitasking is I'm trying to go through the teams, and I think you might be right. I think they might have the best wide receiving core.
Well, right now, yes.
I mean, Titans don't have 3. Steelers don't have 3. Dolphins have 2, right? Their slots.
The third one is Noah Brown. Who's the third one in Miami? He's got Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Strikers out. Yeah.
I think it's Brown. I don't know. Doesn't matter, but you're right. Who else has 3?
I'm just going through them. Browns, no. The Rams, obviously, are the Rams. The Packers, no. The Commanders have one guy. The Bears have no guy. Well, the 200-yard guy. The Saints, Olave and Thomas, no one else. Well, if they put Hill in as wide receiver.
I mean, the Seahawks might be the only ones that I'm.
Cowboys kind of have 3. They have Lamb, Cooks, and the other big guy. What's his name? Oh my God, I'm blanking out.
If you blink out, you can't.
Yeah, well, it doesn't count if I blank out. Yes.
The Ravens don't have anybody. The Bucks have got Evans, Godwin, and they're 3rd. Texans have really just 1. The Colts have 1.
Broncos have 2.
The Panthers only have Thielen. The Giants have nobody. The Raiders have Adams. Cowboys have
maybe
2.
the Vikings. But if Jefferson wasn't hurt, you had Jefferson, Addison, and the other guy.
Yeah, the Raiders have Adams. The Cowboys have got 2. The Eagles have got AJ. I don't think they don't have 3 though.
I mean, the Seahawks with Lockett Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Nick.
No.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah, no. If you have to, no.
I mean, it's not that I don't know him. I can't pronounce his name.
The Bills have Diggs, and that's really they don't have 3. The Bengals have Chase. The Chargers, well, one of theirs is hurt. The Jets. The teams that are on bye. Oh, the Jet. I mean, Calvin Ridley's dead to you, so it can't be the Jags.
The Bengals might. They have Higgins, Chase, Boyd. I think the Bengals don't have a bad one either, bro.
And the Niners.
Niners close with Ayuk and Debo. But I can't think of a third one there, can you?
Well, the third would be Kittle. Well, we're talking wide receivers, not tight ends.
If you're going to go there, then there's going to be...
there's going to be a third.
Yeah, on a lot of teams. But about the Detroit Lions, just St. Brown?
I'm trying to find the teams on the bye this week.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. So yeah, good talk. Next one is going to be the Commanders playing the Patriots.
Did we skip Seattle, Baltimore? Or we haven't gotten there yet?
No, 3 down.
Roger. Where are we at? Commanders and Patriots?
Commanders, Patriots up by 3.
Well, the Commanders just traded away their defensive line, right?
So, correct, all of it.
Let's look at that. I don't understand that, but I guess. It wasn't like they even got great picks for it, wasn't it?
Well, they weren't going anywhere, right? Like and I don't know why more teams don't do this. At some point, you got to be real. You're not getting the postseason. If you do, you're going first round and out.
Okay, but what did you get for him?
Now, I don't think they got enough for Chase Young.
Yeah, I don't see that. I mean, I think Chase Young was still a great athlete, and I don't see why you trade him. But
unless he did, unless he you body slammed the owner, yeah.
It's new ownership, right? Maybe they're trying to make a point or become relevant. I don't know, but they did what they did. It does hurt them, considering the defense was already hurting for the Commanders, and now you get rid of someone like that. It's not something you sneeze at, right? They did just play a pretty good game, right, against Philly.
Yeah, and then they shipped everybody off.
What does it say? Sell it while it's hot.
I think it should drop it like it's hot. This is.
I'm looking at. I'm trying to pull up the score from this.
I mean, they won by 7, right? It was Philly escaped with a 7-point lead.
Not bad. Still a shootout. I think Howell looks pretty good. To be honest, I think Howell's not a bad quarterback at all. He's got not a lot of yards right now, 2,100 yards, 13 touchdowns that he picks, but he looked good against Philly. I'll say that much. Is it enough to beat the Patriots? Ugh. Patriots offense isn't that special either. Their defense is probably a little better than the Commanders, especially now, right? What is the spread on this puppy?
Patriots 3.5.
I'm going to roll with the Patriots to cover here. I think that the fact that the Commanders just traded away one of the best defensive pieces. Now, again, he may have been a problem in the locker room, right? And there was a whole bunch of stuff going on, and maybe there's more to come later as far as why they traded him. Howell does look good. He can move the ball around. I just think that I don't know why, and it's just probably a mistake considering that. I'm gonna retract that. No, the reason I'm struggling here is I think Howell played a pretty good game against Philly. Now, when you think about the Patriots and all their struggles and them being 2-6 right now, it's not anything different than the Commanders being 3-5. Nah, you know what? I'm going to go with Washington. I think they upset. I don't see it. I think Howell's playing too well. I know they've lost a defensive piece, but man, if they can keep up with Philly as far on offense, as far as the Philly's defense, I think they can beat the Patriots. So I'm going to go with the Commandos.
I'm gonna go with the Patriots on this one because they did trade away their defense, and the Patriots aren't anything to write home about. But Bill, this should be one that Bill actually does some good on, right? So Mac Jones showed some signs of life in the last game. I I think the Commanders are. Again, you can't get rid of that many people on the defensive line without some problems, unless they just have some studs waiting that we've just not heard about, and I find that hard to believe, or else they would have started. So I'm gonna go with the
So do you have the
Patriots. Patriots cover.
Patriots? Okay. I'm a little pissed Ripper went Commanders because I was actually I think this is one of those games that I think the Commanders win.
Okay, I go Commander all the time.
Right. Well, we know you do, but so Commanders cover for this one. I was hoping to be opposite from both of y'all. I got to make them up somewhere, and I thought this was going to be one of those games. So
Sorry, Funky. I almost went the other way. I just think Howell's play was pretty good against Philly. And regardless of defense, they're already ranked kind of. The Commandos are ranked low on defense, anyways. They got rid of a piece that really wasn't going to make a difference. I just think that the Commandos will outscore the Patriots.
The Bears at the Saints. Saints are favored
Oh,
by
boy.
7 points. 0.5.
If
7.5.
you want to stream a defense this week in fantasy, I would definitely stream the Saints. I think they're going to have a great defensive game against the Bears. I know that the only bright spot in the Bears for me is the Texas running back Johnson. I think I still believe he's going to have a breakout season this season. It probably won't be this game. What is the spread?
7.5.
Yeah.
Do you mean
7.5,
Fields? That
right
running
here.
back Fields?
No, Rashawn Johnson.
Oh.
Yeah, that other running back isn't he hurt?
Yeah, he is.
I don't think that guy's playing. I'm gonna go with the other team, other than the Bears.
The
covering.
Bears.
7.5 is pretty steep, but I think the Saints are gonna have a big defensive game, and I'm going to go with the Saints on this one. That and Carr just saw Garoppolo get benched, so he's gonna be like, man, I better step up my game.
He's got some chubs on that.
The Saints. And the Saints look good against the Colts, man. Not defensively, really, but offensively, they really did some good damage. I mean, they scored.
I did text you some Minshew magic there, and then the Saints were like, nay,
Yeah,
nay.
Jinxed them.
I did. I jinxed them.
So the Saints.
This team is better than the Bears. I mean, that's what it is. This team is better than the Bears. They should beat them. If they beat the Colts by 11, they should beat the Bears by 14, at least. So, yep. Sorry, Bears fans. We're gonna keep this one short and simple. The only thing that might screw this up is a Carr pick six, or 2 Carr pick six. That would mess the spread up. Carr's 2 pick sixes.
That may happen. Now that you said it, it probably will.
It probably.
Strikey.
yeah, Saints by 8. We'll just leave it simple.
The Bears.
My brain is starting to mush again, so
It's all good. We'll take the 2-word answer.
All right, and this is Striker's team, the Seahawks, going to Baltimore to play on the Ravens.
I guess I'll start it up. Strikers in mush mode. This is going to be a game that says a lot about the Seahawks, right? Striker may not have been off in choosing the Seahawks to get up there, but this is the type of game they need to win to be that team, right? The Ravens don't look bad. Obviously, they're 6-2. And what are the Seattle Seahawks? 5-2. So not a bad game for them. Gino's doing great at 67%. Doesn't look too bad. Not a lot of yardage though. I think the Seahawks to me have a lot more potential than what you're seeing on the field. I just think it's game flow or whatever is happening to them. They don't look, to me anyway, Strike, as explosive as this team should be with the receivers they have, with the running backs they have. I don't know if Gino took a step back or what his stats were last year. They're just not great. However, defensively, I think this team is pretty good. Now, across the field, however, the Ravens defense looks good too. And I think that's where everything is going to come down to, right? So, whose defense can stop the other team better? And I know that's common sense, right? But what I mean by is if the Seahawks defense can stop Baltimore, it may be enough for Seahawks to win in the sense that they're mid-tier offense can score enough points. But that's where I say this is going to be the difference, right? Or a game that will show what this team is about. The Seahawks defense has to come out big against this team and really big, because if you even give the what's his face across the field,
Lamar.
Jesus, Lamar, he's going to turn it. Now he doesn't have a lot of passing yardage, but he's got run yardage, and we all know what Lamar can do on the ground, so on and so forth. This is going to be a pretty good defensive showcase, though. And at the end, I hate to say this, but I think the Baltimore Ravens will have a little too much for the Seahawks. I get that the Seahawks can stop the pass, but Lamar doesn't throw much anyways. It's him running that you've got to really worry about. And I don't see the Seahawks stopping that, to be honest. So I'm going to go, what's the spread?
Ravens 5.5.
Yeah, I think the Ravens will win. They'll cover by a touchdown. Lamar's too much, man. I think I like the Seahawks. I think they're a good team, and they can prove us all wrong and show us, hey, we are that team. They have to win this one, but I don't think they can stop Lamar. They stop the pass well, but Lamar don't throw the ball, so he's another running back that can throw. But yeah,
So
the Ravens.
I mean, I think they've had a pretty good year right now, and I don't think that if they lose this game, it's the end of the world. Like they're still going to be in first place whether they win or lose.
I don't say it's the end of the world, but I do think a win against this team is a statement.
It is a statement win. It'll make you feel a lot better about yourself till the next week when you lose to the Texans. So I mean, that's just how the NFL is, right? This would be a good win, but the things going against them is I think they're traveling from the West Coast. That's not fun. They're going all the way across from west to east, right? That's not fun. Number two, the Ravens are starting to run the ball like the Ravens do, right? The Gus Edwards is getting the ball and getting in the end zone. Lamar's running around. The Ravens defense is to me. I think if you look at it, it's that the Ravens defense and the Seahawks defense are kind of the same spot, and the Ravens offense, because of it's so rush based and it's so explosive rush based, is a little more methodical than the Seahawks. And I'm honestly, you're right. That's what the Seahawks. If the Seahawks were going to be a really good team, it would be explosive plays to DK, explosive plays to Lockett, right? And really showing that off, and it really hasn't been like they, and they've got no run game. That's the flip side. So they can't grind the ball out like the Ravens can. All those things being said, I don't know the points. That's a lot. I think this game's going to be close. I think it might be a 3-point game. I'm going to go with Lamar doing something special and the Ravens getting 6.
So, unfortunately, I do think the Ravens win this one. I'll give the Ravens, but I don't think they cover. I think it's the Ravens by 3, and I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think the pickup of Williams from the Giants will make the difference, but I don't think at the end of the day the Ravens lose this game. I think the Seahawks just don't have the weapons they need. So, and boys, unfortunately, I'm going to have to tap out. My brain is about to just die.
Fine, man.
Yeah.
Did you do your picks on the spreadsheet?
Yeah, I will. I'll get them when I wake up next.
Okay.
I'm gonna go get some rest.
Yep, get feeling better, bud.
Get better.
By the way, COVID sucks. Don't catch it.
Yes. Unlike the Seattle Seahawks.
Right.
You can't catch anything.
Right.
Get feeling better, bud.
That was terrible.
Yeah, I don't even know what I agreed to other than the Seahawks can't catch anything. So,
All right.
User disconnected from your channel.
The Bucks and the Texans.
Who's nuts?
The Bucks and the Texans.
This team still playing in the NFL?
They do.
Man, the Texans let me down last week. Battle of the rookie quarterbacks. I didn't see that happening, man. I know you felt like it was going to happen, or I don't even know if did you choose Carolina?
I did not choose Carolina. I just said they might do it, and then they did.
I'm surprised. I really am, and I need to pull that game up because that's on that.
I mean, to me, they're not good teams. Neither one of them, right? And that's what it really comes. I mean, the Panthers and the Texans, they're really not. And the Texans are playing kind of lights out, like they are. But that you just can't do that week in and week out. At some point, you fall back to your talent level. and I think that's what happened. And plus, at some point, the pressure of not winning gets to you. And these guys are all professionals, and they just, that's the team they could one up. So
I guess at that point the Texans are 3-3. I think the Texans are playing the way they are because of their new coach, D'Amico Ryan. I think he's a one of those players coaches that can really get a team rolling.
yeah,
However, you're right. If you went rookie quarterback, and we talked about this, that Stroud looked like the best quarterback out of that rookie class, and so on and so forth. Um, Man, stat wise, Bryce Young looked like the better quarterback. 22 of 31, 235 yards, one touchdown. Where Stroud went 16 to 24 for 140 yards, no touchdowns. Neither one
which
of them threw a pick.
which at some point there are guys that have played in systems that are more aligned to the NFL that can come in and I think probably do better. But this is that floor ceiling conversation. Like sometimes your floor may be higher, but your ceiling lower than the guy next to you. And now you're talking they're halfway through the rookie year. He's seen all the things once or twice, right? And maybe the field's starting to slow down and he's starting to see the game a little better.
Or maybe the Texans defense is that bad.
It could be that as well.
Yeah. But I don't know. Battle of the rookie quarterbacks. Obviously, this round goes to Bryce Young. Now we're looking at Texans versus the Bucks.
Yep.
After last week's game, honestly, I think the Bucks are going to be the better team on this field. What's his name? Baker Mayfield. I know I keep forgetting names. Baker Mayfield isn't a bad quarterback. Is he a rookie quarterback? No. He obviously has more experience than Stroud, so on and so forth. He's got 1,600 yards, 10 touchdowns, 4 picks. Overall, though, I think the Bucks defense isn't better than the Texas defense, but they play better, if that makes any sense, even though they're 3-4. I think they'll struggle. I think the Texans will struggle in this game. However, plucky team, man. Again, I felt this gut about the Texans last week, or last time. I don't know, wasn't that
2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was
2 weeks ago. This is tough, man, because I think Baker and the Bucks play okay. Tough one for me to choose here. What's the spread?
The Texans by 2.5.
Yeah. I think the Texans can pull this one off. I think they'll cover and win by 3. I think that Stroud, being a not bad quarterback at all, will come back off this last loss and bounce back. I think D'Amico Ryan will get this team to bounce back. The real question with the Texans, in my opinion, is where's the running game, man? Damian Pierce did so well last season, and this season he's been kind of non-existent, to be honest. Mayfield and the Bucks, good defense as well. Offensively, they're not clicking. Rushing game, they have none. It's all whether you can cover Evans or not on this game. I think the Texans will pull it off. I think they'll cover by 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna differ on this one. I think I like Baker. I want to root for the guy. I want him to do better. The Bucks are. I think the Bucks are an average team. I think the Texans are a below average team. And I just think this week I think the Bucks can win. It is in Houston, so advantage to the Houston team. But I mean, it's going to go one of two ways. You lost to the only winless team in the league, and you kind of take a step back, or you rally around them and you have a great game. I need the Texans to drop it, so I'm going to go with the Bucks. Hope Baker has a great week.
How dare you?
I will probably regret this one. So, all right, we got the Colts, Minshew Magic, and the Panthers.
All right, so that one win they got, the phone started ringing after that game, and Bryce Young was told, "Look, we're trying to get you a number 1 receiver for next season. Can you stop messing around and just lose the rest of the season? We're trying to build a team around you." So, yeah, that one win was a good win, but I don't see them beating the Colts. Colts defense, again, not great. Man, this is a tough one, but no, I don't see it happening, man. I don't think the 1-6 Carolina Panthers are going to beat the 3-5 Carolina Colts. I think the Colts, Minshew Magic. I think they've got the run game back, um, somewhat. This isn't the Texans. I think the Panthers got their one win. Maybe they'll get 2 wins, and this isn't going to be their second win. Colts cover. Well, what's the spread?
It is the Colts by 2.5.
Colts cover. I think the Colts win this one. Defense isn't great, but I think their offense will be enough to, one, time of possession, two, score more points, and three, the defense again not great, but I don't see a lot from the Panthers offensively to make me think, oh, they're going to have a great game. So yeah, keeping it short and simple. Going with the Colts cover.
I didn't even have a chance to pull up everything yet.
Mustache.
You're too quick.
Sorry,
No, you're fine.
I can slow it down and give you a little Minshew Magic story.
So you got Colts by 3.
See. There's the an Espanol part of the show.
Brought to you by ESPN Spanish. So yeah, I do think that the little Thielen connection is nice for me because I have him. So I'm happy that he's not dead yet at 33. But I thought the Colts were going to win last week. They did not. I think they're going to win this week. I hope they don't. They can go ahead and keep that streak going. If them and the Titans can lose the rest of the games, that'd be great. But they should be able to beat the punchless Panthers, who got their 1 win. So,
yeah, good job.
And Chuba Hubbard.
Now, Chuba can run the ball, but it's not going to be enough. I think the Colts on the other side, Moss, Taylor, Minshew Magic, it'll all happen. Pittman, who's done pretty well lately. I think it'll be too much for the Panthers and C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud shot his shot, and he got his good win. And like I said, man, now they called him from upstairs and said, no more of that, or I ain't going to get you that receiver you want. So, Panthers lose.
Yeah, you can win 1, that's it.
Next up.
We got the Giants and the Raiders.
Another one of those games, right? There's only 2 games this week that we really want to watch. This is not one of them. Giants have a quarterback named Danny DeVito's nephew. He is Danny DeVito's nephew, by the way.
That's what I heard.
Right?
And
His
somehow he
relation.
got the giant genes from Arnold Schwarzenegger's twins.
Yeah, exactly. You got it from the other side of the family. Raiders just benched their starting quarterback, fired their whole coaching staff, or they fired a whole bunch of people, head coach, general manager. In typical Al Davis's son. Well, it's his son now, right?
Yeah.
Fashion,
Well,
but Al Davis is the same way.
I know it was Halloween, so maybe Al Davis came back from the dead.
Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say. So he just, fire sailed everybody, sold and fired everybody, benched Garoppolo, kicked him out of the stadium, told him never come back. I don't know if he went that
So
far.
did you?
Garoppolo's
So
benched.
speaking of Josh McDaniels, you know that he started his career in Denver 6-0, and that's when he got caught. Basically, there was some sort of cheating going on where he was doing something similar to what the Patriots are doing, and since that point, he has a abysmal record, like the worst in the league.
Well, you know what they say, baby. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
So,
Now, I don't know what to say about Josh McDaniels. He hasn't had a very, other than that, he hasn't had a successful career, right? He's had, how many times has he been fired? This is like his 3rd time, 2nd time?
he got fired in Denver, and he got fired in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that place.
Yes.
Anyways, my long story short here, so we don't go too far on this. I think the Oakland Raiders are having, you know who I am. Las Vegas Raiders are having a lot of.
I was
issues
doing the
right
same
now.
thing, so yeah, I get you.
Which is sad because I got Josh Jacobs on the bench. Wanting him to do better and play better. However, he's surrounded by a pretty bad team, which is unfortunate. Now we could be 100% wrong. This new quarterback could come out here and toss the ball around and be amazing, and I'm guessing that's what the Raiders are hoping for. But man, you just fired your head coach. You fired your general manager. There's chaos going on. that trickles down to the locker room. It has to. This is it's a business, and when the from the top bottom starts cracking, it starts crumbling all the way down. So I'm going to go with the fact that they're going to have problems. However, on the other side of the ball, it's Danny DeVito and a Giants team that just isn't all that. Barkley's not running or doing great. They don't have any real receivers, so Danny isn't throwing to anybody special right now.
Did you see the end of that game? They weren't letting him throw to anything. Like it was screen pass after screen pass after screen pass.
Well, the coach is like, if your uncle wasn't Danny DeVito, you wouldn't even be on this team. But yeah, I think that the Giants and lack of anything isn't going to be enough to be a Raiders team with some problems. I think that Garoppolo's bench, but they're not going to not rally around the new quarterback, right? They're not going to. These are all professionals that still want to win, and that's why a lot of them have performance bonuses, right? Almost every player in the NFL has some kind of performance bonus in this contract to make more money. So they're going out there to play no matter what, and they're paid for that, right? So it's their profession. I think the Raiders are still a slightly better team than the Giants. However, every time I pick the Raiders, don't I get burnt?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well. Let's hope it doesn't happen this time too. I'm gonna go with the Raiders again. You said their spread was
Raiders 1.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders to cover.
I don't know if the Raiders were like, I don't know if the new guy just got signed. Like, I don't understand, but they look terrible. Like, terrible. So maybe after a week he looks less terrible, but that's still really bad. And I don't know who the Raiders, I don't know the Raiders situation either when you're benching Garoppolo with no head coach, but I would think I would think the Raiders are gonna be able to pull this out. I don't know though. This might be a 3-0 game. Someone somehow flukes into a field goal. So I would agree with you. Not gonna watch this. I'm gonna go by Raiders by 2, and I do appreciate you having Josh Jacobs not doing anything on Monday night for me. So that was greatly appreciated.
Or did play you?
Yeah, we played in the money league this week. Which a shout out to everybody, because we're in the money league. We're all separated by 2 games, first to last. So it is no pushover, that's for sure. Shenanigator, it is going well. Thanks for stopping in. Harley is throwing lots of things in chat.
I don't know. I went from first to like 6th in this league, or 7th. But I mean, it's first is only 5-3. I'm at 4 and 4.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It
doesn't matter much.
Yeah. Alrighty then.
The next game we're gonna do is your game.
Ooh, Dallas and Philly. I'm excited for this game, and I'm gonna start off with the fact that I'm usually sometimes picking against the Cowboys, sometimes not. I know that Philly's one of my favorites, but to be up there, however.
The Cowboys are your favorites.
I don't even want to know what the spread is. I'm going with the Cowboys on this one. I think, look, Dak Prescott still is Dak Prescott. Is he playing better right now? Yeah, slightly. He's a 71% completion rating, which isn't bad at all. But he only has 1,600 yards, 1,637, 10 touchdowns, 5 picks. Not great. However, they're starting to throw the lamb a lot more. And I think that's the key, to be honest. I think the key is to really work your best receiver and start using that tight a little more. And I'm seeing that. Our run game is still dismal, and that's always going to hurt us. I don't know why, gut feeling, homer feeling, whatever you want to call it in this sense. I think the Eagles are struggling. I think they haven't matched up against defense like the Cowboys. Everyone was like, oh, Diggs is hurt, and it's going to be a big problem. Bland has stepped up and looks phenomenal. I mean, if Diggs were healthy and Bland was playing, we'd have 2 of the best corners in the game right now, to be honest. The team looks good, man. And as always, Parsons is an animal, and you can't stop him. I think the defense is really going to be a problem for the Eagles now. Again, the Eagles on the other side are a tough team. They've got Hurts, they've got Swift, they've got everything, Brown and Smith, and they're a great game. This is going to be a definite matchup. I don't think that this is going to be a blowout on either side of the ball. Again, we always have that big letdown that the Cowboys give us, and it probably still will happen, where they come play this game, everybody's hyped for it, people are barbecuing and excited because that's the way Cowboys Nation is. And then, the Cowboys lay up a goose egg, and the Eagles beat us 30-something-0. Let's hope that don't happen. But we are the heartbreak squad, right? We're always getting our heart broken by the Cowboys. However, I just have a feeling, man. I have a feeling the Cowboys are going to come out big to play this game. And what is the spread?
3 Eagles.
I think the Cowboys win this one, and it's not going to be by a lot. I think this game is going to be won by the rookie kicker Aubrey. I think he kicks for a winning field goal. You heard it here first. Dak Prescott does not throw 17 interceptions.
I think the Eagles were looking past the Commanders last week and ready and had you circled to play this game. So I think they took last week off, and then halfway through the game they were like, "Oh shit, we're losing the Commanders," and they took it up a notch and did what they needed to do. These are two of the teams, right? Like I still think you guys will. So I think the edge here is that it's in Philly. And so I'm gonna take the Eagles, and I'm gonna take the Eagles by 4. That's just because they're in Philly. I think you guys are. I think you two are the cream of the crop right now in the NFC, and I think the 49ers are a step back. I think it's you two, and this is the game, that you guys need to show that you belong. Turnovers are key. That is, and the other, so it's in Philly. Turnovers can't happen, which unfortunately that happens to the Cowboys. And number 2, you guys do not have a running game. Like that's the problem. If you had, I think even if you still had Zeke, and Zeke and Pollard were doing the 1-2 thing, I think you're and while he had a bloated contract and all that fun stuff, him as a player was great in that role to take the first kind of punches and hits because he was a big back and he took those hits, and then Pollard could come in and kind of do his thing. Not having that obviously is hurting you.
Yep.
So I think in Philly, turnovers and the fact that the run game is better in Philly, that's the difference. I'm going to go Eagles by 4. It gives me no joy. I hope you guys win.
Well, this is the second of 3 games I really want to watch this weekend. Maybe 4 if you include Seattle, Baltimore, which is Miami, Kansas City,
Yep.
Dallas, and Philly. And then I guess you can include Seattle, Baltimore, but the next one I really want to watch this weekend is the next game coming.
The Bills and the Bengals.
Oh yeah.
Are you going to get up early to watch the Chiefs game?
No, because I have 8 teams in my organization.
Yeah.
Well, it's the league we play in, Texas Youth Football Association, has a playoff show, and they do their playoff meeting on Sunday. So we have to turn in our scores early by 4:30. Usually we play all our 8 teams will play in the same day. We're hosting this week. We have to separate into 2 days. So I actually have games that day. So no, I will be at the games. Not my team. My team's play Saturday. The gray side, we have gray and purple. It's kind of like I wouldn't say varsity and JV, but it's D1 and D2. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm on the D1 side of it, but I'm the president of the org, so I have to be there Sunday as well. So I will be at football games.
Sorry to hear that.
But I'll be awake, so maybe I'll watch a little bit on the old telephone.
The telephone.
Yes, it's gonna be a game, man. There's actually really good games this week that you want to watch.
Yeah, that you're as a fan, you're just like, yeah, and of course, the nice thing about fantasy football is it allows some of the stinkers you to care about. That's one of the things I actually liked about fantasy football. Is there's a reason to like the Texans because you have their starting running back.
Well, that's why I like the Red Zone channel so much because of fantasy football. I watch the Red Zone channel, and it's, you're again, it's Red Zone, right? So you're watching, looking out for all the players that you have and want them to score touchdowns.
Correct, and hoping your
football.
opponents do not.
Correct. Fantasy football has definitely changed the way we are all fans of football. But back in the day before fantasy football, before we started playing, probably I started playing in my 20s, but before we started playing fantasy football, we were more into our own teams, right? Like I just want to watch the Cowboys. I don't really care about any other team, blah blah blah. And now it's like I watch the Cowboys if they're on. I only watch the Cowboys. When the Cowboys game is done, I go back to the Red Channel and I can watch the Red Channel all day.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes you more vested in some of the other teams. Again, I was always caring about my teams. I didn't care about the other teams. Now you know that, hey, they're this is going on, this is going on. So, as we can tell by our predictions, it makes you a better, well-rounded football connoisseur.
Correct, because the team's a lot better now.
Yeah. All right, so Bills and Bengals. Bengals by 2.
Spread, Bengals by 2. Oof. Well, let's start off with Burrows is looking better, way better.
He did a play last week that he basically pivoted out of a sack and danced around and then threw a strike, and I'm like, his ankle's better. Like,
and that's going to make the Bengals dangerous, obviously. And perfect timing, right? Because they're still just 4-3. It's not like their season's over. They've lost too many games. So if they're back, they're back, and they do look good. And he does have the weapons, obviously. He's got the receivers, and Chase, Boyd, and Higgins. He's definitely even Mixon looked good running the ball again. So him being back and Burrow's being back, this team is looking solid to me. Great matchup between the Bills and the Bengals. One that we'll probably see down the road again, maybe in the playoffs.
Maybe earlier than either one of these teams wanted.
Correct. Right now, offensively, stat-wise, rank-wise, the Bills look better only because Burrow's just started coming about it. So I wouldn't even look at that stat. I think offensively, they're both going to have weapons. They're both going to come out shooting. Defensively, they're both kind of mediocre. So this one, to me, is going to be a shootout. I wish I knew what the over-under was here because I have a feeling it's going to be somewhere over 50.
Yeah.
So Bengals by 2.5. Now, here's the big one, right? Like, this is definitely, I'm not going to say a coin flip, but it's not a game that you would say, all right, the Bengals are going to win for sure, or the Bills are going to win for sure. You can't. This is a real, down the line to me, both these teams are fairly even offensively. It won't show that in stats because the Bengals have just started coming around again.
Yeah.
But I think they both have a running game. They both have receivers they can throw to. Is Diggs out or in though?
Sorry. Let me look. I do not know.
I thought he was hurt. Try and put it up. Let's see. Is Diggy's hurt? Didn't say. See what happens when we lose a statistician.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's assume he's playing.
I'm still looking at the report.
The team is pretty evenly split down the middle. I don't see either one of their defenses being something great right now. Obviously, I think it's really going to come down to which quarterback plays the best, bro.
So Allen's on it. Allen's on it. Douglas is on. There's a couple corners, a safety, a tight end, linebacker. Diggs is on the report.
The Bills' defense is horrible.
Yeah.
Again, but it is going to come down to which quarterback plays best. Right now, Allen has 71% completion rating, 2,100 yards, 17 touchdowns, 8 picks. You really can't go with Burrow's yardage because he hasn't been doing great, but he does only have 10 touchdowns and 4 picks, which isn't bad. Oh, man. This is going to be a really good game to watch. I think it's going to come down to the wire. But I think Burrows is back, and I think he's playing, like to him in his mind, I got to catch up and be great, because I had these 3 bad games. And I think he comes out and he takes it to it, man. I like where Cincinnati's going to be. I know that I picked Buffalo to be what? In the AFC game?
Yes.
Either way, the way Cincinnati's playing right now, I'm going to take them to win. I'm going with Cincinnati to win and cover.
So if this was week 1 and they had the rosters, if they're full rosters, I would pick the Bills. But it's not week 1 and the Bills are decimated in the back half. Their linebackers are hurt, their corners are hurt, like they are decimated. And Burrow's not hurt. Doesn't look hurt. I mean, again, you don't know for sure. You'd like to see 2 in a row. But if he can, he is the problem with Burrow is his line's terrible. And so without that mobility and nimbleness, and it's not so much he doing him doing a Lamar thing, it's him buying time in the pocket by moving around in the pocket. He's not gonna bust 50-yard runs. What he's gonna do is buy and turn 2 seconds to 4 seconds, and that's the big deal. And he looked like he had it last week. I think you're right. This is a coin flip game. These teams are two really good teams. But I agree with you. I think that Joe is back and he's a winner. And I think that the Bengals at home are going to take care of business. So Bengals by 3. And
Bengals by 3.
our Monday night game is going to be the Chargers playing the Jets.
Hey, great! Another boring ass Monday night game. I wish they would flex Monday nights like they do Sunday nights. The Sunday night game, obviously Cincinnati, Buffalo, great, but New York Jets and the Chargers, I mean, stat wise, if you're a fantasy player, you're definitely looking at some of the Chargers players, but who on the Jets do you really want? There really isn't anyone that I'm excited about as far as fantasy relevance.
punter.
You? Punter, yeah. If only. This
That
game's
would,
gonna.
if you could get the Giants punter and the Jets punter, you would win any fantasy league.
Yeah, well, we talk that and we say that, and the Jets defense keeps showing up and winning games for them, right?
Yeah, they do.
I think in this case, I think they're gonna do it again. I think Uncle Rico's going to be happy again. I think the Jets are gonna come out, and it's unfortunate because I really like Herbert, but I think they paid a little too much for him, in my opinion. Still doing great. 13 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's a great one. Maybe it's just I don't know. You want to say what's around him? Maybe I don't know. He doesn't really have a running game with Kelly. His receivers, other than Keenan Allen, they lost what's his face,
Williams.
Mike Williams. So Keenan Allen's aging. I just don't see it. I don't know what the spread. What is the spread?
The spread is going to be the Chargers by 3.
I think the Jets upset here, brother. I think the Jets are going to take it and upset another team. Uncle Rico magic, I guess you can call it. The Jets win this one. I'm keeping it short and simple because there's not much to say about a boring Monday night game.
So the Giants, who have all kinds of problems, the Jets played a great defense about, and they could do that, and they won by 3. I don't think they can do that to the Chargers. Just that Herbert to anybody is too much for the Jets. If the Chargers score 14 points, this thing's over for the Jets. I say that, and then the Chargers defense is middling, so maybe 21. My point is, I think the Chargers can score even against the great Jets defense, and they are going to score enough to win. So I'm going to go with Herbert to Allen, one too many times, and the Chargers win by 4.
Nice, short and simple. I like it.
We got some spreads. We got some for Striker to fill in.
Nice.
Had some great people in chat. Harley says Philly by 20.
Nice.
And the Philly fans are rabid.
She's just mad because she has to put up with her little mini quarterback coming back.
I think she's mad because she's in Philly, and she's trying not to get rioted.
Oh well, you don't want to root against the Eagles in Philly.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's a place you do not want to go. So, another great show. We'll keep this one short and sweet. Anything from the chat? Daniel, good luck on the Browns. Harley, I don't know what team you're a fan of now that they traded Dobbs, but good luck with whatever team you got. And
I think we pointed out pretty much the best games of the week, right? Buffalo, Cincy, Dallas, Philly, Seattle, Baltimore, and Miami, KC.
Yeah, which is a lot more than we normally get. And honestly, like you said, these are none of these games look like they're David versus Goliath, right? Like they're flawed teams against flawed teams and good teams playing against good teams.
Yes, it is.
So
for once,
should be a good week of football at the Midway Park. Looks like all of our Super Bowl champ picks are still alive, and we'll go from there. So, all right, thanks for coming out, Ripper. Thanks all you guys out in Chatland. We'll wrap it up for tonight.